a team from out west has come back to Skydome. They're struggling now, but the Saskatchewan Roughriders may be thinking of how they won it all here 20 months ago. The Toronto Argonauts are waiting for the Riders, hoping to beat them a second straight week. Saskatchewan at Toronto in Week 6 of the CFL on CBC. It took the Saskatchewan Roughriders 23 years to get to this, a Grey Cup celebration. But now the Riders would be happy just to get back to the respectable stage. They're 1-4, even though the principles from the Grey Cup remain. They include a distinguished offensive lineman, a reliable inside receiver, and a game-breaking pass catcher. And the Riders have added the league's most effective kick returner. The Pinball, the Rocket, and the Gizmo are all chasing Willis Jaycox, who'd be best advised to get himself a nickname. In the year and a half since they lost the semifinal at Skydome, the Argonauts have not stood pat. They've changed from the top down. They've added an even-tempered head coach. They've seen the Pinball develop into the CFL's most valuable player. They continue to benefit from the sure hands of a brilliant receiver. They've acquired a punishing linebacker who leads the league in tackles. And they've made headlines all over the continent by signing the Rocket, who had the best game of his young career last week. The novelty of exciting football in Toronto is not wearing off, and the Argonauts are expecting another good crowd at Skydome tonight. Welcome to Skydome, now probably the toughest building in the CFL for a visiting team to win in, and that's because the Argonauts seem to play up to the level of height that's existed here since the start of the season. This, of course, bad news for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who lost by 2 points to Toronto last week and desperately need a victory tonight. Don Whitman is on assignment, and so we welcome back to our crew Steve Armitage, who is with Joe Gillette.
Thank you, Scott. Hi, everyone. It's good to be here. Tonight's game features two of the most exciting kick return players in the CFL, Willis Jaycox of the Saskatchewan Roughriders and Mike Pinball Clemens of the Argos. And, Joe, those two players alone are worth the price of admission.
I'll tell you, they certainly are, Steve. One of the things that you look for in a guy like Willis Jaycox, long runs and long touchdowns. He's done a great job. And if you take into consideration that he's averaging about 17 yards every time he catches a football, that's a football player.
And the thing to remember about Jaycox is that less than a year ago he was playing touch football in Minneapolis. Now, is there a difference in the style between Pinball and Jaycox?
Well, the difference in the style is that Jaycox will go right up through people. If you spread out too much, Jaycox is going to beat you inside. If you pin them in and try to cup around the returner, then you got a problem because Pinball will bounce to the outside and he'll go for the touchdowns.
Two of the most exciting players in the CFL, Jaycox and Clemens, in action tonight. Now let's go back down to Scott. Scott?
Steve, Saskatchewan's Glenn Suter's a pretty good football player, but it may be the proudest moment of his life happened a few months back in Regina when he saved a young man's life, and Glenn Suter will be with us and live at the half to talk about that. We'll also talk live with a Detroit businessman who wants to bring the Canadian Football League to his city. You're watching the CFL on CBC, live from Skydome. While other teams got headlines, Wally Buono's Calgary Stampeders reeled off 5 straight wins, led by veteran quarterback Danny Barrett. Darryl Rogers took over the Grey Cup champion Winnipeg Blue Bombers, a team with the league's best running back. But Robert Mims and his teammates have struggled. Winnipeg at Calgary, Thursday, August 22nd on the CFL on CBC.
You're looking live at the Skydome in Toronto on a hot and humid evening, and we hope that the action will be about the same, and that man could provide us with plenty of hot action. Willis Jaycox, as we mentioned, less than a year ago playing touch football in Minneapolis, now the all-purpose yards leader in the CFL. Lance Chomick kicking off to the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and it goes to Brown and not Jaycox. And Brown will try his luck on the right side. Brown forced out of bounds at the 50-yard line by Kevin Smelly. It's a 50-yard kick and a 25-yard return by Brown.
Well, that was a nice setup. They had the wedge coming over. And remember, Albert Brown's a good return man as well. He's had some long returns for touchdowns, so that gives them a nice 1-2 punch, and it gets them off to a good field position and a good start.
Rick Warman gets the start at quarterback for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Ken Austin still a week away from returning to the lineup. 1st and 10 from the 52-yard line. Warman just swings it out, intended for Lucius Allen, and it goes make that Lucius Floyd over his head.
One of the things that Rick Warman wants to do is to be able to control the blitz, and he's got two great inside receivers in Jeff Fairholm and Ray Elgard.
2nd and 10 for the Riders, looking for only their 2nd win of the season, come into this game with a 1-4 record. Jaycock split wide to the left. Warman under pressure and is brought down for a loss. Carl Braisley leading the way for the Argos.
That's the halfback blitz that they know they're going to have to be able to handle. The blitz came from the outside. Rick Warman has some running backs that he can dump in a hot situation, and that was a hot situation. He just didn't dump the ball. Braisley's at the top of the screen, comes right around the corner, makes him pull the ball down.
So that puts Saskatchewan in an early punting situation. Mike Lazecki with the punt. He gets a good one away. A rocket at the 25. Flag is down, and he fights his way up to about the 33-yard line where he stopped and where the Argos will take over. A 39-yard punt and a 6-yard return from the rocket.
Of course, it's a no-yards situation.
No yards. Saskatchewan number 4. 1st down.
Maybe they feel that's better than giving them a long return, is just to get in there and not give him an opportunity to get started. That's the only way you can stop the rocket, keep him from getting started.
Ricky Foggy starting in place of the injured Matt Dunnigan. Dunnigan injured in the 2nd quarter of the opening game for the Argos. Fakes it once. Darrell K. Smith is open.
Well, they caught very simple situation here. You got to cover the receivers. And they caught Saskatchewan up in tight coverage on a bump situation. They didn't bump Darrell K. Smith, the guy who complained that he didn't get the football last week. He's got a big gain this week.
Big gain means 39 yards, and you know what I think made that work in part was that little pump fake from Ricky Foggy.
I think they were looking for an inside receiver with Foggy's pump. That certainly helped.
Foggy again looking for Smith. This time, good coverage from Richie Hall. Let's check the offensive keys for the Toronto Argonauts.
Well, Ricky has a lot of tools at his disposal, but he's going to have to get the football in Mike Clements' hand. And with Jeff Boyd back in the lineup, he's going to have to use Jeff on those outside routes.
2nd and 10 Argos from the Roughriders 30-yard line. No score early in the 1st quarter. Foggy elects to keep it himself and then slides down to the 21.5-yard line.
Ricky Foggy's averaging about 6 yards a rush, and that's why when you bump the receivers, this is what they're doing. They're bumping on the receivers. Ricky Foggy pulls the ball down, makes the 1st down. Well, he didn't quite make the 1st down, so they're going to have to settle for the field goal. But that's one of the concerns that Saskatchewan had. How do you handle Ricky Foggy when he runs with the football?
He has rushed the ball 42 times for a total of 240 yards coming into this game. Lance Chomik had a big game against the Roughriders last week. 6 field goals. This will be his 1st attempt of the night. From the 29, and it is good. So take the lead on the Saskatchewan Roughriders, courtesy of a Lance Chomik field goal.
GST included doesn't get you much these days, but it will get you a chintzy-looking trophy and a 1976 Olympic shirt to give to the player who accumulates the most yardage on kickoff and punt returns. It's the CBC's Return to Sender Award, and what player wouldn't die for a shirt that took 15 years to come into style? The leader in Week 6 of the season is in tonight's game. Saskatchewan's Willis Jaycox padded that lead with a 108-yard run back against the Argonauts last week, and I'm sorry to say that he didn't know anything about this return to sender business when we talked to him in practice yesterday, but he's fully aware of it now, and let me tell you, folks, fired up to retain the lead. Steve?
Thank you, Scott. I want to hear you sing the first few bars of that song sometime. Do your Elvis impersonation. Lance Chavez. Short kickoff. They're kicking away from Jaycox, as we suspected, and again it goes to Brown. Brown does well to cross the 40-yard line, where the Roughriders will scrimmage 1st and 10.
Well, the Roughriders have an opportunity here to get a drive going. Not too bad. They let him have the long pass to Darrell K. Smith. So what they need to do now is to be able to handle Harold Hallman up front, and of course Darrell Ford, that linebacker that's all over the football field making big plays, and to keep the ball away from Chris Munford on interceptions. So Warman has his work cut out for him.
The ball just shy of the 40-yard line. Saskatchewan 1st and 10. They trail 3-0 early first quarter. Floyd. And Floyd picks up 4 or 5 yards the hard way. Chris Gaines over there to make the stop for the Argos. Good second effort.
He got outside, and if Chris Gaines hadn't been there, I think they would have had a much bigger play, but he slid to the outside. He did a nice job of bouncing off the blocker and holding them down to a 4-yard gain. Still a good play.
A gain of 4 yards, 2nd and 6, Riders. Warman through the middle, intended for Elgard, and almost picked off by Warren, in and out of his arms.
He was looking for the bend in for Elgard, and the biggest problem he had was Warren in the way. Rick didn't see him. Coach Gregory's not too happy about that. You're not supposed to throw to linebackers. You're supposed to throw to your own receivers.
John Gregory fairly pleased with the job that Rick Warman has done in replace of the injured Kent Austin, but I think he'd like a little bit more consistency out of his quarterback. This is the pinball. And that time, good downfield coverage by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Let's go to Scott.
Steve, you can talk all you want about the problems of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Many of them can be traced to the fact that Kent Austin, their starting quarterback, is in street clothes on the sidelines, has been since the first half of the first game of the season. When can you play?
Well, right now I think we're shooting for next week against BC at home, and I guess it's really going to depend on how well I throw in practice and if I'm at full strength, but I think I'm going to be able to go next week.
Speedy return. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Steve?
Thank you, Scott. On that play, it was Mike Clemens, the ball carrier, going around the right side, trying to find some running room. Not much there. A pickup of about 2.5 yards.
What Saskatchewan has to do is what they just did on that last particular play. They have to keep them into long yardage situations. And of course, the people that are going to help them do it is Gary Lewis up front. He's got to get some pressure, and Eddie Lowe has to do the job as an outside linebacker.
Saskatchewan come into this game rated 6 on defense. Foggy loose the rush. And great second effort by Foggy. Almost gets him up to the 45-yard line of the Argos.
Bobby Jurison had him. He was right in on top of him, and it looked like it was going to be a sack, but don't ever underestimate. Ricky Foggy doesn't look strong, but he got bounced around, and he still came out and made a run. Jurison had him wrapped up. Unfortunately, the running back got in the way as well.
Good pressure from Albright and Proctor on Foggy, and in talking to John Gregory yesterday, he said that's definitely what they had to do to Foggy. But look how he gets out of the grass.
Well, Foggy, it looks like he even had trouble holding on to the football, but he still shook off those people and made a run. He said he said Cunningham with the Philadelphia Eagles is his hero, and he looks like Cunningham a lot when he does run with that football.
has a very upright running stance, not unlike Cunningham. They need a yard for the first down, and Foggy keeps himself, goes up the middle, should have the first down to keep his drive alive. We're early in the first quarter here at the Skydome in Toronto. It's the Argos against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The Argos leading 3-0 on a field goal from Lance Chomik.
You got to think that Adam Reed is a bit concerned about not finishing off a drive. They had a beautiful pass play, got down and didn't get a score. Rita wants to get touchdowns, not field goals, because they don't win games. Field goals won't win ball games when it's a high-scoring shootout.
First and 10 Argos from their own 45. Foggy just loops it over the middle. Clemens complete. Down to the 45-yard line of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And it would appear that Foggy was shaken up on the play. Dan Rasevich came in hard on him.
He was shaken up. Rasevich really put the hit on him right where he bends, and there's no pads where you bend. That hurts. That's in the rib area, but Foggy alertly got the football out to Michael Clements, and Eddie Lowe couldn't stay with him all the way.
Good read by Foggy on the play and spotting Clemens over the middle. In and out of the arms of Jeff Boyd. Just back in the lineup for the Toronto Argonauts. Stacey Hairston, good coverage for Saskatchewan.
That hurts when you get a football delivered right on the money, right into the receiver's hands, and he isn't able to catch it. I think he knew Stacey Hairston was there ready to hit him. He didn't look the football all the way in. I think he was ready to try to absorb that blow, try to get into the shell like a turtle. It didn't work.
Are you suggesting that Jeff may have heard footsteps?
I don't think there's any question about it. He heard Stacey Hairston's footsteps.
Second and 10 Argos. At that time, it was intended for the Rocket, but there was no way even the Rocket was going to pull that one down. Willie Gillis, the backup quarterback for the Toronto Argonauts, warming up on the sidelines. I don't think Adam Rita, the head coach, will hesitate for one moment if he thinks that Ricky Foggy is at all shaken up and can't do the job because of a physical injury.
He's indicated that to us, that Foggy's his starting quarterback right now, but he is not at all concerned about using Gillis. He thinks he can win with Gillis as well.
First punt of the game. Jaycox is back to take it from that man, Hank Ilesic. Not the best of punts from Ilesic, and Jaycox allows it to bounce, and that may have been a mistake because it goes out of bounds at the 1-yard line.
Oh, that's a tough one. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to start with the ball on the 1-yard line.
A 44-yard punt from Hank Ilesic and no return from the Riders. Final meeting of the season between the Argos and the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and right now the Argos have a 3-0 lead courtesy of a Lance Chomik field goal that came early in the opening quarter. But the Riders have the ball first and 10 from their own 1-yard line. Not the best of positions to start a drive from. Warman gives to Milson Jones, and Jones finds enough of a hole to get up across the 10-yard line. Darrell Ford there to make the stop for the Argos.
Milson Jones told us before the football game that he wanted to have a good football game. He's tired of losing. He wants this team to snap out of the losing streak, get back on track. This is the place where they won the Grey Cup. A lot of tight jaws this game.
First and 10 now for the Riders. The pitch to Floyd. And Floyd gets up close to the 20-yard line. Runs into Chris Gaines.
Lucius Floyd is a fine football player. What he's been doing is catching the football. People forget that he's a runner. He's been catching the ball coming out of the backfield so much, he hasn't carried much.
Second and 3 now for the Riders from their own 20. Warman under pressure, looking for Elgart, picked off. Wilson's third interception of the year. And a nifty 11-yard return for Wilson.
Now Rick Warman drops back, and he's getting pressure. Darryl Ford leaps through the air. Warman feels him coming, and there's a collision downfield. Wilson bounced in to Elgard, and Elgard didn't look for the football. And the ball was thrown more to Wilson than it was to Elgard.
So a turnover puts the Argos in excellent field position. 1st and 10 from the Riders' 23. Foggy looking into the corner. Touchdown! The first time in the game they go to the Rocket, and it's a touchdown. The second TD of his young professional career.
Well, the Rocket runs a great route. He knows the ball's coming inside. He outruns him, but you got to hand it to Foggy. Everybody was worried that maybe on that last hit that he took, that his shoulder was injured. Well, his shoulder didn't look injured on that play.
And Lance Chomick tries the point after. It is good. And the Toronto Argonauts, hoping to sweep the Saskatchewan Roughriders for the first time since 1985, take a 10-0 lead.
Well, the Rockets said, hey, it's easy. All I have to do is outrun the guy, and they'll put the ball where it belongs. And that's exactly what Foggy did. He put the ball the only place there could be a reception. The only place that was open, low into the inside, touchdown.
The Rocket had an excellent game against the Riders last week. 7 catches for 146 yards, but no TD. Foggy paid for that one.
Well, as a quarterback, you always have to pay the price. And Ricky Foggy knows that. That's what he's been doing so well. As a experienced quarterback now, he's in his 3rd year. He's able to take some shots. He's able to relax enough. He's able to relax enough to get that football in there when he has to.
Again, Chomick with the short kickoff, and again it's Brown for the 3rd straight time. And Brown is brought down at the 35-yard line by Kevin Smelly. That's a 44-yard kick and a 5-yard return from Albert Brown.
Well, those cross-country returns are very rarely effective, Steve. And I know Warman would like to have a little better field position, but at least it's better than being on the 1-yard line.
I think what Rick Warman would like right about now is more time to throw the ball. He's not getting a lot. He's getting a lot of pressure from the Toronto defense. 1st and 10, Riders from their own 36. That time it was complete to Don Narcisse. Ed Berry covering on the play. John Gregory has to be concerned, seeing his team go behind 10-0 in the 1st quarter.
Well, I think John likes that. That's a well-executed play. Warman puts the ball on the money, and he's throwing on time. That's what John Gregory wants to see out of Rick Warman. He wants to see him throw on time. Throw on the 3rd step. Throw on the 5th step when that's what's called. And he certainly got it that time.
Short yardage in for the Riders. 2nd and 3 from the 43. They give to Milson Jones, and I think he's going to be stopped short of the 1st down. Chris Gaines with the initial hit for the Argos.
Well, Darryl Ford is coming in, and he really squeezes the play and helps Gaines. That's a lot of territory to cover. I mean, he came all the way across the backside and helped on the play, as did Ed Berry. They're covering a lot of ground on a 2-yard play.
As a defensive coach, you love to see that kind of tackling, that kind of support tackling.
Well, Darryl Ford is a football player. We've seen him get better every week.
3rd and 1, and Warman goes over the top and should have the 1st down to keep the drive alive.
You see a lot of changing. The big guys are off the field. They get some of the big guys in there, Poley and Jura. Jurison and some of them to help block on the short yardage, but now they got their speedsters back out there. Rick, I think, should stay with that timing throws. I think those are the things that work for him.
The ball's at the 47. Riders first and 10. They trail 10-0 first quarter here at the Skydome. Floyd still on his feet. Good effort by Floyd to get down to the 50-yard line of the Argos.
Well, we said before, that's what I think Toronto hasn't remembered about Floyd. He caught the ball so much coming out of the backfield, they have a tendency to forget that maybe he is a fine running back, and he made some great cuts on this play. 2 excellent cuts. You know, we asked him how to pronounce his first name. He said, you could call me Lucius or
Luscious.
Maybe Luscious.
It was a luscious gain, 13 yards. Warmer. Oh, in and out of the arms of Ray Elgard, the normally reliable Ray Elgard. He's dropped a few of those this season, but that one was certainly catchable.
Well, that ball was right in there, and there again, I think Warman's throwing on time. He's looking a little better, and he has to throw on time because look at Don Moan come in and give him a shot, so he knows the ball has to be delivered. That was his 5th step. Boom, he threw the football. Should have been a completion.
2nd and 10 from the 51. Over the middle, this time Elgard hangs on, and good second effort from Elgard gets him the first down. Marcus Thomas brings him down.
Well, that's a football player. Ray Elgard knew he didn't make the play the last time. He made a tougher play this time. The last time it was an easy catch. This time, that's a pro catch. That's a hard catch to make. The guy's all over his back, Marcus Thomas.
First and 10, and again, Foreman was looking for Elgard on the right side. That time he fired high. Don Wilson over there covering on the play.
Well, Brian Warren was in on Warman again. I think what Warman has to do is be concerned about those halfbacks coming underneath the coverage. But he's throwing the ball quicker. I think John Gregory would be pleased with that.
Some thought that Warman may have been hanging onto the ball too long.
I imagine Warman thought that at times when he got hit so hard.
2nd and 10 Riders from the 38-yard line of the Argos. And it's complete on the far side to Willis Jaycox, the all-purpose yards leader in the CFL. His first reception of the night.
Well, they're doing a good job up front, but Jaycox came back for the football. That's what a good receiver has to do when he's got tight coverage. He came back to get the football. And the big guys up front used some turn-back protection that time, and you saw Warman on almost a rollout. So that's good. They're changing the direction of the throws, changing where they're throwing the ball from. They moved the pocket.
But the reception by Jaycox not good enough to give the Riders a first down. They'll have to go for the field goal. Dave Ridgway attempting from the 39. And it's good.
Well,
so the Riders pick up their first points of the game. They now trail by a converted touchdown, 10-3. The Skydome in Toronto. I'm Steve Armitage along with Joe Galat. Scott Oak is down on the sidelines as we look at the Saskatchewan Roughriders bench a little happier, having put 3 points on the board. The Argos still lead 10-3, and they have the ball 1st and 10 from their own 35. A double reverse. Darrell K. Smith winds up with it. Gets to the 35-yard line, which was the original line of scrimmage, and Richie Hall was there to meet it. Riders read that perfectly.
Well, they sure did. And Darrell K. Smith thinks he's swerving Mervin Fernandez on this play. He's swerving and bobbing and weaving, and he can't find any place to run. They played good disciplined defense on that. Everybody's playing upfield, playing from the outside in. Even though Jurison missed the tackle, still Richie Hall came up and held him for no gain.
So Smith and company will do it again. 2nd and 10 from the 35. Foggy puts it up, and it's intercepted. Touchdown, Sean Dykes. Intercepting Ricky Foggy, a 56-yard interception return for the touchdown. And all of a sudden, the Riders are back into this one.
Well, the wall, that Sean Dykes is some kind of football player. He played it off the ball. You can see the wall cave in on Foggy. I don't know if he got his full range of motion. His tackle got stuffed back into him, but Sean Dykes picked off the ball and takes it all the way for 6. That's a nice run by Sean Dykes, a Mid-American Conference football player. Bowling Green State University. I used to hate those guys.
And the convert is good from Dave Ridgway. We are tied at 10. Don't go away. The Saskatchewan Roughriders appear to be out of this game at one point. They just come back to tie it at 10. And this is the Rocket. Good second effort by the Rocket to get up just shy of the 50-yard line. Sean Dykes brought him down. It was a 41-yard kick and a 15-yard return from the Rocket.
Well, certainly the walls caved in, but Sean Dykes played it perfectly. He sat off the receiver, let the ball be thrown, and then he broke. You know, they say you can travel 1/3 the distance that the ball travels, but watch Foggy. He can't throw. You can't throw when your body is straight up in the air like that and you can't get your shoulders turned.
1st and 10 Argos from their own 48. Foggy finds Kelly still on his feet. And Kelly tripped up at the 53-yard line. Let's check the stats from the first quarter play here at the Skydome.
The important statistic are turnovers because both of them did result in scores. But it's a fairly even ball game at this point.
Second and 5 for the Argos from their own 53. We're tied at 10. Early second quarter. Foggy under pressure. Jurison was there for the Riders, and Foggy goes down.
You know, you got to give a lot of credit to the defensive line of Saskatchewan. They've been making some plays in this ball game. Jurison is coming in, and Ferroni has to come out as a guard on a double read situation, and he just gets run over. And Jurison, he had that look in his eye before the ball game. You know, something is to be said about coming back to the place where you won the Grey Cup. You remember the glory, and you'd like to have more of it.
Jurison did not have a great game against the Argos last week in Regina. He's making up for it this week. Alessic with his second punt of the game. This one's a good one. Jaycox at the 25. Looking for some running room. Almost tripped up there. Crosses to 32. Brought down at the 33-yard line where the Riders will be 1st and 10. A 44-yard punt from Hank Alessic and a 6-yard return from that man. Standings in the East going into tonight's action. Toronto with a 4-point lead on Winnipeg. Ottawa looking for their second win of the year against the Edmonton Eskimos at Lansdowne Park tonight. Hamilton will be in action tomorrow night. First and 10 Riders from their own 32. Nelson Jones up the middle. Fumble. Still loose. Argonauts indicating they've recovered.
Well, we talked about turnovers, and that certainly gives a team a lift. It reverses the field. It gives you 50, 60 yards when you take a look at the whole picture. Big play here because they've got the football on the 35-yard line now.
Certainly shortens the field for the offense when the defense can do that kind of job.
You know, those quarterbacks love to get in there when the ball is on the plus side of the field. Anything inside the 35, you usually consider the score zone because you're going to get at least a field goal.
Keep your eye on number 90, Leonard Johnson. He's the one that eventually winds up with the football. Mad scramble at this point.
Ryan Warren had a shot at it, but Darrell Ford is the guy that caused the fumble. And he did a great job of putting his head where the ball was.
Complete to Smith. Smith knocked out of bounds at the 26.5-yard line by David McCrary. There's the man who recovered the fumble and gave Ricky Foggy and the Argonaut offense good field position.
Now, Leonard Johnson was alert. looked like Brian Warren had it, but Leonard Johnson came in and scooped it up.
They've moved the ball to the 26-yard line of the Riders. The Argos now 1st and 10. Foggy complete to the pinball. Touchdown!
Looked like a face mask penalty. What you had was Ricky Foggy faking the draw play back to the inside, and he came out. Michael Clements was open right in the flat, and he delivered the ball on time. Perfect pass. Michael Clements took it right up the sideline.
And Lance Chomek will try the point after. As usual, it is good. And the Toronto Argonauts go in front by a touchdown, 17-10. Remaining second quarter. Immediately following his touchdown, Mike Clemens went over and gave the ball to his mother, Ann Bryant. A nice gesture from the pinball. Following his first touchdown of the season receiving. He has 1 touchdown rushing and now 1 receiving, and his mother was a recipient of the football.
I think his mother gave him some good looks. He looks like his mom.
Argonauts on top by 7. Lots of time remaining to play in the second quarter here at the Sky Dome. A perfect night for football. A little hot and humid, but I'm sure that the fans are enjoying the weather. The players may lose a few extra pounds. The kickoff following the touchdown from the pinball. Good kick. This is Jaycox, still on his feet, battles his way up to the 24-yard line before he stopped. A 63-yard kick and a 27-yard return from Jaycox. Scott?
Well, Steve, it's an early night for Argo starting center. Ian Beckstead has pulled his groin and will not play again this evening, but his offensive line mates will be in there to battle these humid conditions that you talked about. You know, in weather like this, many of the offensive linemen who go between 260 and 280 pounds will sweat off as much as 10 pounds each. That's a total weight loss of about 250 pounds for the offensive line. No cheap jokes here, folks, about anybody in the broadcast booth who's got to lose weight. Back to Steve and Joe.
I think that applies to both of us. You don't have to worry about insulting one or the other. Jeff Fairholm receiving that pass from Warman as we look at Beckstead, who is through for the night.
There again, you got Warman doing what he wants to do. He's throwing the ball on time, and Toronto's given him that much room to throw the football. So if they don't come up and get tighter coverage, I think Warman's going to have a good night.
A gain of 7 on the last play. It's 2nd and 3 from the 31. They give to the big man, Nilson Jones. And he tried to use his 240-plus pounds to pick up the first down. I got a feeling he's going to be short. Leonard Johnson and Don Moen combined on the tackle for the Argos.
Well, Hallman stuffed it up pretty well as well inside, and then, of course, the linebackers came over and put it on him. Johnson's playing a good ball game tonight.
Well, they need a yard for the first down. Decision time for John Gregory and company. They're down by a touchdown, 17-10. Bobby Jurison and Drinkwater are into the game. So they send in the studs to beef up the line. Warman just goes straight ahead on the quarterback sneak, and he should have the first down.
It's awful tough to keep them from making less than a yard on those situations. And it's not really that much of a gamble if you got a quarterback that knows how to get the ball from center. But sometimes those things happen. The quarterback doesn't get the ball. That's the biggest danger, if the quarterback doesn't get that ball because the center is firing out at the same time.
1st and 10 for the Riders from their own 35. Warman intending for Ray Elgard, and Elgard, had he been able to catch that, would have lost a couple of yards. He had to come way back looking for the ball. Good coverage from Don Wilson in the Argos secondary.
I saw Warman and looked down to the ground because Hallman was biting at his ankles, and I think that disturbed him a little bit, and he put the ball to the outside, but they're just as well off. Wouldn't have been a good play.
2nd and 10. Warman with some time, and then time runs out, and he's sacked by Mike Campbell.
Campbell knew what he had to do. 2nd and long yardage. You just pin your ears back and go after them. I thought Warman had a chance to throw the football, and he held on to it. That's what John Gregory's trying to get him to not do. Don't take the sack. Throw it away.
A punting situation for the Riders. 3rd and 16. Ozeki gets it away from the 20. Taken by Pinball Clemens. He could go. Good run from Mike Pinball Clemens. A 42-yard return.
We have an update from Lansdowne Park in Ottawa, where the Eastern Roughriders are playing Ron Lancaster's Edmonton Eskimos. The Eskimos have scored the first touchdown of the game, a 24-yard touchdown pass from Tracy Ham to David Williams. Good effort to catch the ball, and it's 7-1 Eskimos with just over 9 minutes gone in Ottawa.
Thank you, Scott. And as that game progresses, we'll keep you up to date with scoring highlights from Lansdowne Park. Here at the Skydome in Toronto, the Argos are 1st and 10 from the Riders' 22. Foggy under pressure, gets away. Touchdown, Ricky Foggy. Will attempt the point after, and the exchange is bobbled. The Riders having some fun with it. Finally out of bounds at the midfield stripe. All of that coming off a bad exchange from the center to the holder, hoping that Lance Chommy could get the kick away, which he couldn't.
That could have been a 2-point play. It's Foggy's 6th touchdown run of the season. And what Foggy did on it very clearly was shake loose Rasevich on the tackle. Rasevich has a piece of him. We talked about Foggy's strength, elusive ability. He shook him loose, got a nice block by Brunster downfield, and went in for the touchdown. Watch Rasevich have one. He got him with one arm, but he couldn't quite get him. Foggy's speed and athletic ability takes over. He actually outruns Eddie Lowe.
You are not going to stop Ricky Foggy with a one-arm tackle. Ricky Foggy now tied for the lead in the CFL for rushing touchdowns. Well, that says something about the CFL when the quarterback is tied for the lead.
And the guy he's tied with is a little different personality and body structure than Foggy. That Marshall Blake has been doing a great job of just running over people. Foggy sort of runs in and around them.
And now Lance Chommick getting set to kick off following the touchdown from Ricky Foggy. This time, Jaycox fumbles it. And he's brought down as soon as he turns around and tries to run at the 17-yard line. A 61-yard kickoff and a 4-yard return. J.P. Esquerdo making the stop for the Toronto Argonauts. And that's one area that the Argos worked on all week long, was their special team kick return and punt return coverage.
Now, some people thought that maybe Toronto, having worked so hard and had away ball games the last couple of weeks, would be tired.
Ted Wall is in the game for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, replacing Rick Warman. sprinting right, has some room, has the first down with about 3 or 4 yards to spare. And Leonard Johnson shaken up on the play for the Toronto Argonauts in pursuit of Ted Wall. Ted Wall, 6'1", 201 pounds, out of South Dakota State.
Well, it looks like both of them get injured. Leonard Johnson gets injured, and then Holman gets clipped on the leg as well by the same player. Both of them fell over the same body.
That artificial turf can be very unforgiving.
Well, I saw Leonard Marshall get blocked, but then Holman, watch the end of this. Holman trips over the blocker coming in, Ray Elgard. Elgard got 2 for the price of 1. It is not easy to fall on artificial turf.
Ray Elgard came very, very close to a clip there, but he managed to get the helmet in front of the leg, and therefore the flag didn't go down.
He got his head in front, and that's what they rule it on. Actually, you're allowed to block in the side if the head is in front.
1st and 10 for the Riders from their own 35. That time complete to Narcisse. Ed Berry defending on the play. Holman still not on his feet, being treated by the Argonaut training staff.
Well, Holman's had problems before. He's had leg problems, and he's a big, strong guy. I'm sure that clip, that hit that he took, may have caused it, and there's the guy that did it. Elgard, that's a good, clean football play. He laid out 2 players.
2nd and 5 from the 40. Wall puts it up, airing it out, looking for Narcisse. It's caught, but I believe he's going to be ruled out of bounds. He had his back to the line, so he really couldn't see where he was in relationship to the line. Offside the call against the Argos. Jake Ireland, the referee tonight. Here's the call.
Offside. Toronto number 35. First down.
Bruce Elliott guilty of the offside. Holman has made his way to the bench as they check the left knee.
This Ted Wall's doing a good job. He's got them jumping off sides. He's running out, delivering the football. I like him.
1st and 10 from the 46. He gives to Milton Jones. Jones with 2 or 3 yards up the middle. Warman now on the sidelines, and next to him is Kent Austin, as he told Scott Oak he expects to be back in action next week off of that separated right shoulder.
He wants to be back in action.
He'd like to be playing tonight.
I saw him yesterday. They're going to have to chain him down to keep him out of the game.
2nd and 8 Riders from their own 48-yard line. Wall had that deflected. No chance for the intended receiver, Willis Jaycox.
One of the things the defense likes to do is to get in the vision of the quarterback, and when his guide hand comes down, to get those hands up, and that's what Leonard Marshall did. So he came back off an injury and got a piece of the ball. That's called a bat. When you bat the ball down or bat it out of the way of the receiver.
Mike Lezecki in a punt for the Riders. Argos lead 23-10. 6:30 till halftime. High punt. Pinball Clemens under it. Flag is down. Clemens knocked back to the 45-yard line. All about. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more from the Skydome in just a moment.
Some case, but not in the case of Saskatchewan's Glenn Suter. He saved a life a few months ago in Regina. We'll talk to Suter about that on Live at the Half. And the CFL is talking expansion. The league has had inquiries from a couple of American cities, one of them Detroit. We'll speak with Lonnie Gleiberman, a Detroit businessman who's serious about bringing the Canadian game to the U.S. And now an update on Harold Hallman. That was a nasty-looking collision with Ray Elgard. A word from the Argo bench on Hallman is they're worried about a possible crack of the small bone just above his left ankle. They'll know in a few minutes when the pain subsides if it is cracked. If it is, then he's done for a while. If it isn't, when the pain goes away, Harold Hallman will go back in. Steve?
Thank you, Scott. And once again, the Toronto Argonauts have themselves in good field position following that kick return from Pinball Clemens. 112 all-purpose yards so far tonight for the Pinball. The roof is open at the Skydome under what have now become threatening skies. I mentioned very hot and humid here in Toronto, and not a bad crowd for this game against the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
You know, Steve, I wonder how it would sound in here with that roof closed.
Noisy. I was here 2 years ago for the Grey Cup. Outstanding. This is Foggy. Lots of room. And I think he just ran out of steam. He went out of bounds at the 26-yard line after a big pickup for Ricky Foggy, 36 yards. David McCrary was finally there to stop Ricky Foggy, and he is smiling from ear to ear. I don't know whether that's fatigue or a smile.
Well, he tells me he's getting in better shape, game shape. He fakes to the inside to Kelly, and he comes all the way outside, all the way around the end of the field, outside the numbers. And he just looks like he's jogging.
74 yards rushing tonight for Ricky Foggy against the Riders. 1st and 10, Toronto. Complete to Paul Massotti, and Massotti is brought down inside the 20-yard line.
They took advantage of Darrell K. Smith's attractiveness because Darrell K. just pushed the defense off. Massotti came underneath in what you call a hide pattern, a hide pass pattern. Foggy delivered the ball. Foggy can't do anything wrong tonight.
A gain of 6, 2nd and 4 from the 19. And this time, Foggy does not have his way. Gary Lewis there to bring Foggy down.
Now, Ted Heath told us that Gary Lewis is giving him the kind of pressure they want. If he had 4 Gary Lewises or 4 Jurisons, they would be doing really good. He got Foggy right around the throat. That's called a tackle.
This is the kind of pressure they had on Foggy early in the second quarter, late in the first. Lance Chomick will attempt the field goal from 32 yards out. His second of the night. And it's wide. Lance Chomick will not be pleased with that. That was well within his range, and he just sort of maybe went to sleep on it.
Well, he had trouble on that convert, so he's thinking about it. And then, you know, the psychology of those field goal kickers is tough because he got to know that that snap is going to be there and that the ball is going to be on the place down on the tee. Looked like a good placement, but he looked like he didn't get that, he didn't get the right swing across, it looked like. Didn't come through with it.
I do the same thing with golf every once in a while. Don't have the right swing. Single point, 24-10. Argos in front. 1st and 10 Riders from their own 35. Fumble! Braisley! And Braisley down inside the 50-yard line. Ted Wall found his man with the pass, but he was unable to hang on, and Braisley was there to pick it up.
Chris Gaines is a middle linebacker. He's one of those guys that's all over the field. Carl Braisley has good position on it, but Gaines made a tremendous hit. Brought down by
Ed Berry forced that fumble. Good play by Gaines and a good play by Braisley, but we've got an injured Argonaut down on the field. Darryl Ford, the injured player.
Well, they don't want Darryl Ford to be down for long because he's the guy that does a lot of things for them. He's blitzing. He gets good pressure when he's out blitzing, and yet he's a good coverage man. When they need good pass coverage, they drop Darryl Ford back. He's a guy that's all over the field. I think he's just shaken up a little bit.
He's the one with that 4.5 speed for the 40.
He can really run. He can run like a receiver or a halfback.
So the Argos are now 1st and 10 from the 51-yard line of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They lead 24-10. Good fake by Foggy. Finally pitches it out to the Rocket. And the Rocket forced out of bounds just shy of the 40-yard line. They mark it inside the 40, down to about 38.
Adam Rita loves this wishbone-type football. He's bringing the Rocket around on the pitch. Ricky Foggy comes out. He's actually running option football like he ran in college at Minnesota.
And what makes that work so well is the fact that Foggy is such a good ball carrier himself. Lots of time for Foggy. Elects to keep it himself. Foggy finally brought down inside the 10.
Well, what do you say about Ricky Foggy? This kid is a super athlete, and he's a winner. Foggy is trapped back at the line of scrimmage, and he actually hops, skips, and jumps rope over some swinging arms and legs, and still gets down to the tip. A super effort.
The Argos continue to lead the Roughriders 24-10. John Gregory not enjoying this evening here at the Sky Dome. He had a ball 2 years ago in winning the Grey Cup. On the other hand, Adam Rita very content with the job that his team has done, especially Ricky Foggy. 129 yards passing, 102 rushing himself. He is having an outstanding game. Gives to Pinball. Touchdown!
Ricky Foggy drops back to show pass, and he hands the ball off in a Statue of Liberty play for the pinball, and he takes it all the way around the end and in for a touchdown. That's a nice looking football play, and it was set up by Foggy's effectiveness as a runner, because everybody was concerned about Foggy.
And again, more exchange on the snap, but they're still alive. Again, they do a fumbling act, but finally the play is stopped.
Well, that's a two-point play. If Saskatchewan gets the ball and takes it downfield, they can make 2 points on it. Of course, 2 points can be had by Toronto as well.
I've got a feeling that they're going to work on that in the next 5 days.
Well, Schmidt is the snapper. Maybe he's putting too much on it. One thing you don't want to do as a holder. Here's Ricky showing pass, and then in the Statue of Liberty, giving the ball back to the pinball, and pinball is homeward bound.
And once again, Clemens gives the ball to a family member, this time to his sister.
How many family members does he have here? We don't have that many footballs.
First one to his mother, and
no cousins. No cousins.
Time he gave it to his sister, Kelly. 122 all-purpose yards for Clemens, and that's his second TD of the season rushing. Both have come at the expense of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The Argonauts in front by 20, 30-10, 2:42 till halftime. This is Albert Brown. Flag is down. Brown has a hole. Knocked out of bounds at the 49-yard line by Ed Berry.
Well, we're seeing a lot of skilled football people on the field tonight. That Albert Brown, I can remember him catching interceptions going long way for touchdowns.
Holding the call against the the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So once again, John Gregory has reason for concern. Here's the call from Jake Arnold.
Holding. Saskatchewan number 42. First down.
Eddie Lowe, the guilty party. So that puts Saskatchewan in a bit of a hole. Not exactly prime field position for the Riders to start the drive. 1st and 10 from their own 17. They're down by 20. Wall. Intercepted almost by Brazeley, and there's a flag on the play. Brazeley had perfect position for the interception, but just couldn't hang on. The pass was intended for Ray Elgar.
Well, Darryl Ford is the guy that made this play work. Watch number 21 come in at the right-hand side of your screen. Paul knows he's going to get hit. He tries to deliver it. That's not easy to take a bounce like that on the ground. This guy's all over the football field.
Penalty against the Argos. 1st and 10 from the 29. Lucius Floyd gets up to the 35-yard line, met there by Chris Gaines.
Well, there's a good battle going on up front, and Mike Campbell is in there. He got a piece of the quarterback, but I thought Wall did a good job just getting the ball off.
How close is it to the artificial turf?
Well,
he may have trapped that one, but it wasn't seen. They get to Milson Jones. Jones with a great effort. Gets up very close to the midfield stripe.
well, Hallman looks like he's having trouble. He's still limping on that leg. He very well could have a broken leg and be playing on it. Many times when that fibula has a hairline fracture, you know, you think you can play, and some players have gone out and played on it, but he looks like he's not getting enough drive. Milson Jones ran right through the middle of the line.
Let's go down the sidelines and join Scott.
Steve, it's one of the world's most prestigious competitions. The World Athletic or Track and Field Championships begin Saturday, August 24th in Tokyo, and so does CBC's exclusive and daily coverage begin on that day. And a lot of our coverage will focus on Kenora's Mike Smith. He's a favorite to win the World Decathlon Championship on Monday, August 26th at 9 p.m. Across the country, we'll have an hour-long documentary on Mike Smith. We've spent 2 years following him from Kenora to Tokyo, where he just may establish himself as the best all-around athlete in the world. The program is called Anything is Possible. A world championship is entirely possible for Mike Smith. It's Monday, August 26th at 9 p.m.
Don Whitman, Jeff Gowan, and Ron McLean winging their way to Tokyo to provide us with coverage of that event. Here at the Sky Dome in Toronto, Milson Jones in considerable pain after that carry and that big hit.
Well, Milson Jones is wearing number 32, which also stands for his age, and I would say that he's taken a lot of hits in his day. I don't think this guy has taken many hits. He's too elusive.
He's taken a couple from the critics. And he used to be a football player. His career ended with a couple of bad knee injuries.
You know, the critics only buy one ticket to the movies, and the fans buy a lot. So I don't think Uncle Buck worries too much about the critics.
He's got a new movie out these days called Delirious,
Which is what Scott Oak is right now. Scott Oak has to be delirious.
30-10, Argos on top, 2:06, still halftime. John Candy very much involved in expansion talks with the CFL. Wall again fires it low, this time complete to Fairholm. But they rule that it did indeed hit the turf. At least by keeping it low, he's keeping it away from potential interception.
Won't be intercepted. And you know, if that ball's behind the line of scrimmage and behind the receiver, it could be legal to have a bounce pass.
2nd and 10, Riders from the 53. Wall puts it up. Intended again for Fairholm, this time incomplete. Brazeley did a super job in covering staff.
Looks like he's got some problems in the rib area. That's very painful.
Lasecki into punt for the Riders. The Rocket and Clemens back to receive. It's going to the pinball, and he watches it sail out of bounds just inside the 20-yard line.
That may be the best place for it, Steve, on a situation like this with Rocket doing what he's doing and Pinball Clemens doing what he's doing. Get it out of bounds. Don't let those skilled people have the ball.
Jaycox can only watch when the punters are punting like that away from these deadly receivers, and that's exactly what Lasecki did that time against a potential return from the Rocket and pinball. The story of this game has been the play of that man passing and rushing. He has been simply outstanding. Wayne Gretzky and some of his Team Canada teammates in attendance tonight here at the Sky Dome. Of course, Gretzky and Team Canada will be in action in the Canada Cup. This is the Rocket. Brought down at the 35-yard line by Richie Hall.
That was a dipsy doodle play. What it is, Boggy laterals to Clemens. Clemens laterals outside on a reverse back with the Rocket, and he cuts it to the inside. That's a good football play. It picked up a nice game.
1st and 10 from the 35. Foggy. Complete. And Jeff Boyd gets out to about the 48-yard line. Flag goes down. Sean Dykes was there with the hit. Was it a late hit?
That wasn't a late hit. The man broke away from the tackle. I don't think that's very good. I think what they have to do is let him play football. When you break away from a tackle.
Here's the call.
Major foul. Spearing. Saskatchewan number 8. First down.
Oh, Jake Ireland and the officiating staff disagree with you, Joe.
Well, he didn't get tied up. Dykes missed him. He's not down until somebody touches him. I mean, you have to make this tackle. His spearing is with the headgear, not the hands.
Long bomb intended for the Rocket, and he couldn't pull it down. Glenn Suter and Stacy Hairston defending on the play. One was behind, one was in front, and the Rocket couldn't come up with the ball.
Well, one of the things that Adam Rita said is that you have to match the skill of Rocket. In other words, you've got to throw the football out where he can outrun people, and that ball was underthrown. He couldn't outrun his people. Had that ball been thrown a little further, it could have been a touchdown.
Penalties have certainly hurt Saskatchewan tonight. They've been penalized for a total of 60 yards. 2nd and 10 Argos from the 47. Foggy complete to the Rocket. And the Rocket down just shy of the 35-yard line. Should be good for the first down.
Well, Rocket just ran about 60 yards downfield, and Foggy's trying to give him a good workout because he goes right back to him this time, and Rocket actually caught that one with one hand. His left hand was nowhere near the football. He caught it with his right hand and his left elbow.
From the 36-yard line, 1st and 10 Argos. Flags are down, complete to Jeff Boyd, and Boyd brought down at the 25. Sean Dykes there to make the tackle. Illegal procedure against the Toronto Argonauts.
The Toronto Argos have so much skill, and sometimes they get so excited they stop themselves. They throw the long bombs.
Procedure. Toronto number 80. Repeat first down.
They get penalties. They have those kinds of problems, and I know that's what Adam Rita is trying to correct. He's trying to get them to be more disciplined. There's nobody that has more fun in practice than the Argos, but he'd like to have them not have those penalties.
John Gregory made an interesting point to us the other day as we look at the penalties so far tonight. He said you can't stop the Argos. All you can hope to do is slow them down. and try and outscore them.
Yeah, what he'd like to see is to hold them to field goals. John Gregory said if we can hold them to field goals and get some more touchdowns than they do, we're going to be in the ball game. And that's exactly what they have to do. They got to shut Toronto down when they get into that scoring position. And with their return people and Foggy's ability to run, they're in scoring position an awful lot.
Toronto Argonauts have a 30-10 lead over that man and his Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Two of the things that have hurt Saskatchewan is the penalties. They have the most penalties in the CFL. And the other thing is that they've just given up an awful lot of points.
Drinkwalter is the injured player for Saskatchewan, coming off under his own steam. Always good to see.
Look at those arms. They look like somebody's legs sticking out of the jersey. I know he didn't hurt his arms. They're too big.
On that penalty against the Argos, it is now 1st and 15 from the 41. Foggy airs it out. Oh, great catch from Boyd inside the 5.
Foggy drops back. He knows where he's going. He's looking at the receiver all the way, but hey, there's only one guy out there. Boyd outruns the quarterback. The safety doesn't have time to get over. That's a big play. They're on the 5-yard line.
A 36-yard gain off of that superb catch by Jeff Boyd puts the Toronto Argonauts 1st and goal to go from the 5. Foggy just lays it out, hoping that either Boyd or Darrell K. Smith could get to it, and he threw it in between them.
That was the wishbone formation. They were anticipating Saskatchewan playing the wishbone. Saskatchewan didn't, however. They dropped back in zone coverage, and hey, there's a teddy bear. Tribute to all offensive linemen around the league.
They are having a ball here at the Skydome, and why not? Their team leads by 20, 30 to 10, and they are 2nd and goal with the ball spotted at the 5.
There's the wishbone.
This is the option. He uses it. A dangerous play, but it provides the Rocket with another touchdown.
Well, that's the old college play. The quarterback comes out, gets a nice block, and he pitches the ball out here. And Ismail takes the handoff, the pitch out. Gets a good lead block from Kelly. Foggy actually blocked his man, Jurison, and it's a touchdown.
They were very fortunate that there was no fumble on the play, but you got to be good to be lucky. That time, no fumble on the exchange. From the center to Masadi, they were able to get it down in time for Chomik to put it through the uprights, and the Argonauts lead 37 to 10.
Well, it's an old college play. Ricky Foggy fakes inside to Kelly. Gets a good block by Clements. He blocks Jurison. Pitch out to Ismail for a touchdown. There's Ismail knowing that he's going to get the pitch out, knowing people respect Foggy. How do you stop that many skilled people in the backfield at once?
7 plays, 90 yards. It took him 1 minute and 27 seconds, and it was capped by Foggy with a Michael Jordan-type move, dishing off to the Rocket. Lucius Floyd has a bit of a hole, and a good return. Kevin Costello there to make the stop. A 41-yard kick and a 20-yard return. Make that Keith Costello. My mistake.
Well, because of the turnovers, Saskatchewan hasn't had the ball all that much. They've had a couple turnovers, and it's been all Toronto in this quarter.
It's all Toronto on the scoreboard with 11 seconds to go till halftime. Wall. Pass is complete to Lucius Floyd. And he's stopped shy of the 50-yard line, runs into Chris Gaines and Reggie Pleasant. Wall came in to replace Rick Warman and has done a pretty good job for a backup quarterback in moving this Rider offense, although it hasn't resulted in points on the board.
Yeah, you can't fault him for the reception that was fumbled, for the punt returns. I think Wall's looking pretty good at this point. I think John wants another one. He's going to go for a big play here.
Oh, they need a big one to get back into this one before the gun goes to end the first half here at the Skydome. 2nd and 5. The ball's at the 51. The Rocket thought it might have been a punt. It wasn't. That time it was complete to Jaycox. Reggie Pleasant there to make the stop.
The reason they put the Rocket in is that they did not want to give up one point.
A superstar in the CFL, superstars in the NHL. Coffey and Courtnall.
I'll tell you, there's a lot of football players. A lot of football players on the field, but there's a lot of talent on the sideline.
Well, they're going to try a long field goal. Ridgway. And it doesn't make it. It's short. And this is the Rocket. Lots of blocking. Lucius Floyd there to bring down the Rocket. And that ends the first half of play here at the Skydome. A big lead for the Argos, 37-10.
Saskatchewan 10 after 30 minutes here in Toronto. And here in Toronto has a familiar ring to it when we talk about the Canadian Football League. Here in Detroit could take some getting used to, but it turns out that CFL fans may have to get used to it. Detroit is a big-time sports market. It has a team in every major professional sports league. The Detroit Tigers, currently battling the Blue Jays for first place in the American League East, play at Tiger Stadium. But the Tigers are to get a new facility, perhaps by 1995. And some in Detroit believe a CFL team would fit nicely here. It would be the 5th football team in a city that already has 2 Division I college teams, a team in the Arena Football League, and the Lions in the NFL. Well, Lonnie Gleberman believes there's room for the CFL in Detroit. He's the marketing director for Crosswinds Communities Limited, a major American property development company headquartered in Detroit, and he's driven across the border to join us live from our studios in Windsor on Live at the Half. Lonnie, thanks for being with us, and tell us how serious that your family business is about acquiring a CFL franchise for Detroit.
Well, Scott, it's very serious. We think the CFL is a great game, and Detroit was abandoned in 1975 by the Detroit Lions. Windsor, Detroit, both great sports towns. I say bring the CFL here.
You obviously believe, Lonnie, there are enough fans to go around for 5 football teams in that market.
Definitely, Scott. The Michigan Panthers drew over 40,000 fans in the 2 seasons per game in the USFL. The arena team sells out. The Lions, they still get fans to their games, too.
All right, here's the big issue. CFL traditionalists say you can't take this Canadian game to the U.S. and keep it Canadian. Maintain the bigger field and the 3-down game that's played to great excitement up here. What's your reaction to that?
Well, Scott, I think you can. It's a great game, and that's why we're interested. The CFL is a unique sport. It's wide open. It's fun to watch. That is why we're interested. It's a wide open, fun game. The CFL is much more exciting than the NFL.
So you would, at all costs, maintain the Canadian features of this game?
Absolutely. That's why we're interested.
What's the benefit to Crosswinds Communities Limited, yours and your family's company?
The benefit for being in the CFL?
Correct.
I've always had a dream of having a CFL team in Detroit. I've always thought Detroit, which has no football team in professional football outside Detroit Drive, the Lions play in Pontiac. The city needs a football team down there, and I think the CFL could provide with a very exciting, fun summertime sport.
A lot of the problems you'd encounter in trying to keep the game Canadian could be overcome, I suppose, if this team was headquartered in Windsor and played in Detroit. Have you considered that possibility?
Yes, we have, Scott. We've already checked that out. If we stay in Windsor as headquarters, we can play in Detroit and get around all the tax problems and the quota problems.
How much would Crosswind Communities Limited pay for a CFL franchise?
Well, Scott, I'll say this. If it makes economic sense, we're doing it. The CFL's interested in coming here. We'll be glad to work with them. We think the game has really turned around. We got the Rocket in there now, Candy, McNall, and Gretzky. This league is on the upswing, and I look forward to seeing it in Detroit, Michigan.
Well, Bruce McNall, Lonnie, paid $5 million for this franchise. I know your company had revenues last year of $63 million, so that price range is within your grasp. Would you consider that, or is it too expensive?
I can't make any comments on the air right now, Scott. We have to look at it. If it makes economic sense, the price is not important. If we can make it work, we're doing it.
Lonnie, thank you for your time. We appreciate you crossing the bridge to join us from Windsor tonight.
You're welcome, Scott. Have a good night.
Lonnie Gleberman wants the CFL in Detroit, and John Candy is very happy that he does. John Candy, of course, co-owner of it.
Scare him away there for a minute.
Did you think so? I wasn't that tough on him, was I?
You were tough on him.
Anyway, John Candy is with us in his capacity as chairman of the CFL's expansion committee. You've had more interest than just from Detroit, haven't you?
Yeah, from Portland as well, but, you know, Detroit was first to come in. We haven't really explored Portland yet. There's actually two ventures there that we have to look at, and we'll do that in the next week and a half. One from Jack Obilovich, Bob's brother, and a group that has asked us to play July 4th of next year, an exhibition game down there. So that's to be determined. We got to go see the site. We don't want to, you know, looky-loos, and we don't want to be somebody's halftime show. There's also, I think they're choosing their junior basketball team for Barcelona or something. So, you know, we have to be very careful about what we're doing.
Quickly, John, your expansion committee met yesterday. Did you set guidelines? Did you determine when you want to add some teams, how many, how much they cost, anything like that?
First and foremost, we have to look at solving the problems that we have within the original 8, which we're very close to doing. Hopefully next week we'll have an announcement with Ottawa and with Calgary. Shore that up, make sure everything's in shape. Then we're going to look at expansion within the next year or two.
John Candy, thanks very much for your time. This is great news. Everybody talking about expansion,
isn't it great?
Okay.
Who would have thunk it, huh?
Well, we're talking expansion, but Toronto's had a team in the CFL for all of this league 79 years, and Steve, it looked pretty good in the first half of this game.
It certainly did, Scott. There's a lot of cheering going on here at half.
The Argos leading 37-10. The first half stats favor the Argos. 308 yards total yardage for the Argos in that first half. Play selection. Both teams mixing up well.
Of course, the rush is distorted with Toronto because Foggy rushes when it's a called pass, and then they run the option play, which is almost a lateral pass.
Ridgway just squibs one down. The Rocket picks it up. Looking for running room on the outside. And he's brought down at the 32-yard line. James King downfield to make the stop for the Riders. A 47-yard kick and only a 4-yard return. And that is certainly one way to nullify the big returns of the pinball and the Rocket.
Well, I think that goes back to my theory of cross-country kick returns. You can't go across the country. You've got to get it up in there somehow.
The man of the half, Ricky Foggy, on the sidelines, and Willie Gillis will start the second half at quarterback for the Argos. So Foggy gets a well-deserved rest. See what Gillis can do. Complete to the Rocket. And good effort. Gets Rocket up to the 41-yard line. Sean Dykes there to bring him down.
Willie Gillis is a big, strong football player. He was at Norfolk State. He had about every record you can have in college passing. What he would like to do is to get in and show the coaches that at any time they can go to him and they won't lose anything. He's not quite the runner that Foggy is, but he's got a good, strong arm. And if he shows patience, which is what Adam Rita told us yesterday, he wants to see Gillis show more patience, move the chains, be able to put drives together rather than just go for the long pass every time.
And like Ricky Foggy, he too has been bothered by a sore shoulder early in this season.
Well, both of them got into running situations and they dropped their shoulder and collided with some big linemen, and both of them have had rotator cuff problems, and that affects your passing.
The ball's at the 41-yard line. It is 2nd and 1 Argos. Little premature action before the snap of the ball. All sorts of flags go down at the line of scrimmage.
Well, the subtle change in quarterback, the nuances of each quarterback come into play. Schultz is ready for Foggy's voice, and instead he hears Willie Gillis's voice.
This is the way the passes were distributed for the Argos. They prefer the wideouts or wide receivers to those in the slot or the halfbacks. 2nd and 5 now for the Argos from their own 36. Gillis floats one over the middle, complete. Darrell K. Smith down inside the 35.
That was a perfect pass. Gillis dropped back, read the zone coverage, and he put the football right where it had to be. That's a perfectly thrown pass right between the two defenders. Good catch by Smith.
A 39-yard gain for the Argos as they take it down to the 35-yard line where they're now 1st and 10. This time the give to the pinball. Was trapped, isn't anymore.
Well, the pinball ran about 400 yards. He made about 40.
It's on number 66. First down.
That guy's so exciting to watch. This is a Statue of Liberty play that we saw earlier. But watch him reverse his field. He turned around, reversed his field, went back the other direction, reversed his field again. He put a lot of mileage on the charts.
And it's all for naught. Penalty against the Argos, a legal procedure, nullifies an excellent run by the pinball. Takes them back 5 yards, where it's now 1st and 15, and the ball's at the 40. Gillis, complete to Smith. And Smith is brought down at the 30. That's a 10-yard gain. David McCrary there to make the stop for the Riders.
That's an alert play by Darrell Smith. He knew the blitz was on. The halfback blitz. He knows the safety's going to come over. He looked for the football. Gillis delivered it. It's a nice play. Picked up 10 yards. It's 2nd and 5 now.
Smith with a big edge on Don Narcisse, 99-18. 2nd and 5 from the 30. From the shotgun. Gillis to a wide open pinball. Clemens shakes off one tackle. Has he got any gas left? Down inside the 15-yard line.
Pinball gave his body up. He knew he was going to be hit. He just threw his body into the tackler. Then he bounced back off to the outside. McCreary comes over. Mole came over. He tried to bounce back. Hairston missed him. So McCreary and Lowe have to wrap him up to make the tackle.
I don't know that Hairston missed him as much as he just bounced off it.
Pinball blocked him and then ran away from him.
1st and 10 from the 13. Good fake by Gillis. But it doesn't buy him the time he wanted to get wide. And he's dropped for a loss.
Well, the Rocket wasn't in position to get the pitch. The timing on that wishbone play that time, there's 3 backs in the backfield. It was all off. They couldn't get the pitch out. If Rocket had delayed a little bit and gotten outside, they would have had an opportunity, but Gillis can't throw it to the Rocket. There's a defender, Hall. Richie Hall's between him and Rocket.
That time, Gillis wisely elected to hang on to the ball. It is 2nd and 15. The ball's now at the 17-yard line. Gillis with time, floats it, looking for Darrell K. Smith. It's incomplete. That time, Gillis had lots of time, but no receivers.
Well, he was looking for Darrell Smith. He had the outside receiver. Jeff Boyd just sort of stood outside. Didn't get anything there. Looked like a busted play.
Smith came into this game with 18 receptions for 328 yards and 4 touchdowns. Lance Chomick will attempt the field goal.
If he gets the snap.
The snap is good, and the kick is good from Chomick. And 3 points for the Toronto Argonauts, who now lead by 30. It's exhibition time in many cities across Canada. Here in Toronto, it means the CNE. Always a marvelous sight at night. And the fans are having a marvelous time inside the Sky Dome tonight. Their team is up by 30, 40 to 10. That time, the kick taken by Alan Boyko. A 40-yard kick and no return by Boyko.
Well, they're showing a lot of respect by kicking that ball up in the air, allowing good field position for Saskatchewan.
This is the way the Saskatchewan Roughriders have elected to pass. And as you can see, they prefer the slot to the wideout or the halfbacks, unlike the Argos, who prefer their wide receivers. 1st and 10 Riders from the 44. Ted Wall, a quarterback. He's going long. And it's incomplete. He was looking for Don Narcisse down the right side, but Ed Berry was covering on the play and did a good job.
He sure did. They're doing a little bump and run here. They're trying to play a little bit of press, man coverage, and Ed Berry's right on top of it. Both of them had to really go up for the football. It looks like Ed Berry stayed with him all the way, or it could have been a completion.
2nd and 10 for the Riders on their own 44. They trail 40-30, 40-10. Third quarter action. Quick pass over the middle intended for Raygard, incomplete. Ray Elgard unable to get his hands on that one. Darrell Ford and Marcus Thomas had something to say about it.
Ted Wall saw the blitz coming. I mean, he knew what was Don Wilson was going to be right in his face. So all he did was deliver the football to the inside to Elgard, but they were hanging back, and they made a good play by Marcus. Got to be frustrating for Coach Gregory. He's got a good game plan going. They're just not getting things done.
Longest serving head coach in the CFL with 5 years experience. Punt from Lasecki. Taken by the Rocket. He is tough to bring down. The Rocket gets to the 42, 43-yard line, a 37-yard punt, a 15-yard return. Nelson Jones was in to make the stop.
I think the Rocket has a hero. I think his hero is Michael Clements. And Michael Clements, he said that he's got a hero too. His hero is Willis Jaycox. So I don't know who Willis Jaycox has as a hero.
Probably some guy that played quarterback in the Minneapolis Touch Football League last season.
That's where he played.
1st and 10 for the Argos from their own 44. Foggy is back in. Complete to Smith. Smith crosses the midfield stripe, gets into Saskatchewan territory, but a flag is down.
They tried a slip screen, and I believe it could be a clipping call.
We'll get the call from Jake Ireland.
Holding. Toronto number 24. Repeat 1st down.
Problem with that is you've got those people out in open space. You've thrown the football out there, and they've got to block people who know what the play is. They see the play coming. I don't like that play.
Holding the call against Keith Kelly. 1st and 20 Argos from their own 34. Foggy. Screen to Kelly, and it's incomplete. He had 3 blockers in front of him, but couldn't hang on to the ball. Well set up.
Foggy must feel that that defensive line has given him quite a rush because he worked the screen, and it looked like it was going to go. It looked like they had a chance. Now, what's a good call when it's 2nd and 20?
How about a quarterback draw?
I think this is when the coach goes over and gets a drink, lets the quarterback call his own play.
Adam Rita calls all the running plays for the Argos. Foggy calls the majority of the pass plays. And this should be one. 2nd and 20. Foggy. They lose one tackle, but he's not going to elude the second.
from Gary Lewis. And Proctor applying pressure. And that's the way to contain Ricky Foggy.
Well, they ran what we call an edge stunt. They ran the end inside and the tackle twisted outside, and that seemed to be enough to confuse the linemen. They got some young linemen in there for Toronto. They weren't able to pick up the stunt.
So that brings on a rare appearance from Hank Olesic, the Argos punter.
Toronto's offense continues to do well. Hank won't have to punt.
We are going to see Jaycox in action. He's at the 25. Shot hold at the 35. When we come back, the Riders will have the ball. They need points. They're down by 30.
Announcing the amazing T-Rific. This revolutionary new tee is always straight up and always the right height. Consistency is engineered in, so you have to improve your distance and accuracy, and that has to lower your score. We've designed 4 precision heights for woods and irons. The amazing T-Rific can improve your distance, improve your accuracy, and lower your score, all for less than the cost of 1 session with a golf pro. For only $9.95 plus shipping and handling, you'll receive 50. That's 50 revolutionary T-Rifics. Plus, while supplies last, we'll include 2 free T-totes, so place your order today. Have your credit card ready and call 1-800-942-4300 or send check or money order for $9.95 plus $2.50 shipping and handling to West Tech Products. Post Office Box 3343, Ogden, Utah 84409. That's West Tech Products. Post Office Box 3343, Ogden, Utah 84409. Or call 1-800-942-4300 and call today.
When last we reported on the game at Lansdowne Park in Ottawa between the Roughriders and the Edmonton Eskimos, it was 7-1 Eskimos. Now the Riders have come back to tie it at the half and a couple of field goals by Terry Baker. It is 8-8 at halftime. The Ottawa Roughriders looking for their second straight victory under Joe Ferragelli. Steve?
Thank you, Scott, and we'll keep you posted on the score of that game throughout the night. Ted Wall almost picked off by the Toronto Argonauts.
Toronto's probably going to be content to play some zone coverage here and try to pick the ball off. That's what Wall was looking at. Into the teeth of the zone. He tried to get it between the backers to Ray Elgard. There was nothing there.
Paul Bushy into the game for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, wearing number 25. Wall puts it up, intended for Fairholm, incomplete. Wall was under pressure that time and maybe hurried the throw.
Well, he sure did, and Carl Brazeley came in and gave Wall a shot. But if there was a little better timing, I think the play had a chance, because the safety had to come over, make up for where Brazeley left, but the timing was just off.
Rick Warman on the sidelines with Kent Austin.
You can see Jeff Fairholm's a little upset.
Lazecki getting set to punt for the Riders. The lone receiver is the pinball, Mike Clemens. He's standing at his own 37-yard line. He lets it bounce. Takes a Rider bounce, and then is knocked out of bounds.
Well, Mike Lazecki was trying to come over and get the onside return, but ball went out of bounds, or he might have had a chance.
Almost 35,000 attendance at the Sky Dome in Toronto tonight. Just under that number. I'm sure the Argos would have liked more, but they'll take that. If this were Taylor Field in Regina, they'd be ecstatic. All Toronto so far in the passing department. All Toronto on the scoreboard, 40-10. And a good tackle there on pinball Clemens by Dan Rasovich.
Well, Dan, he smelled that play right from the beginning. It was the counter play going back to Clemens. I don't know as a linebacker how you can key anything, because they've got so many counters and play passes. But Rasevich was right through and made a great play.
5:52 remaining in the third quarter. Toronto 2nd and 9 from their own 54-yard line. Foggy bought some time with the fake, was looking for Kevin Smelly with the pass. It falls incomplete.
Well, Foggy got a little bit of heat there, but one of the things that I think you got to do with Toronto, you get so much influence stuff. Maybe the best thing to do is just stand still. Stay in one place. Then they don't influence you. Albright knocked that ball down is what really happened. So you like that defense, Steve? Stay there. Just stand there.
Adam Rita giving his bench a good workout now. A lot of players getting into this ball game, as you might expect, with a 30-point lead. Good punt from Alessic. He booms it over the head of Willis Jaycox, who will concede rather than attempt to run it out. And I think that's a smart move on the part of Jaycox. There was no way he was going anywhere with that punt return.
Hit the beach this summer with Prime Network for men's pro beach volleyball. The excitement of the men's pro beach volleyball tour. Experience it all summer on Prime Network. Available on most Prime Network affiliates. Every Wednesday night, Prime Network brings the great outdoors to your living room. From the how-tos of fishing to the nation's most scenic locales, professional outdoorsmen guide you on your journey across the country. From lady anglers landing lunkers to the latest news on hunting, fishing, and conservation. Wednesday nights, leave the city lights behind and escape with Prime Network on your wildest adventure ever.
Well, if you want to meet the most excited Argonaut fan in Skydome tonight, she's sitting here with me in section 113. She's Ann Bryant, mother of Mike Pinball Clements, the CFL's most exciting and valuable player. His sister Kelly's here, and so is the pinball's fiancée, Diane Lee, at the other end. You're getting your money's worth tonight. I'm sure you're glad you made this trip from Clearwater, Florida.
That's correct. We're having a great time tonight.
Now, I know that your son wanted to give each of you a ball when he scored a touchdown, and Diane's the only one without so far.
We look forward to her getting one before the game is over.
I'm sure she's going to get a chance because he's playing great. Anyway, you should be very proud of your son, and thanks for your time. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Thank you.
Okay. Steve, back to you.
Thank you, Scott. On that last play, it was Leonard Johnson getting in on Paul Bushy and dropping him for a 3-yard loss. So the Riders are now faced with a 2nd and 13 situation from their own 32. They trail 41-10. 4:30 to play, third quarter. From the shotgun, Wall puts it up, and it's incomplete, but as a flag goes down, Reggie Pleasant could be called for interference. They were looking for Jaycox on the sidelines, but Reggie Pleasant got in the way.
Well, they were doubling the inside receivers. They had double coverage on both slot backs. So Reggie Pleasant was out there all alone on Willis Jaycox. And
holding, Saskatchewan number 58. Forward pass interference. Toronto number 2. Repeat second down.
Well, those two penalties will nullify themselves, and they'll do it over again.
Well, you know, John's got to be really upset. How do you get a break? I mean, he gets an interference call, and then they call holding to nullify it. So it's a start over.
The ball's at the 32. 2nd and 13 Riders.
Problem with a young quarterback. They seem to start to go on the same snap count. Darryl Ford anticipated the snap count perfectly. You see, he gets through before the line even had a chance to get their hand off the ground. I think think you have to fault the quarterback. You can't go on the same snap count every time. It gives the defense too much of a head start. There's a good football player, Darryl Ford. He told us yesterday, he said, don't brag about me. He said, I want to stay low-key. I just want to go out and play good football. Don't put me up too much. I'm sorry, Darryl. You're making too many good plays. We got to brag about you.
Punt from Lasecki goes off the side of his foot and out of play. And almost a great grab by our cameraman on the golf cart.
Well, Steve Gale had a chance. He had a chance for it. That's tough, though. You got the headset on. You got the camera. It's very hard. I know Steve wanted to catch it.
You got to do better than that with a first name like that.
He didn't see the ball coming, though. Hang in there, Steve.
A 17-yard punt off the side of Lasecki's foot. But they're moving the ball towards Toronto territory. Here's the call from Jake Hart.
Holding. Trotter number 35. First down.
Bruce Elliott called on the holding. So that helps the bad punt a little. Moves the ball up to the 52-yard line, where the Argos will be first and 10. They lead 41-10. 3:37 to play, third quarter.
Looks like Foggy's in there.
Good fake, but the Riders aren't buying it. Could be a big loss. Foggy gets away. He was looking for Darrell K. Smith, and Glenn Suter read that well, stayed with his man, and was able to get to the ball before Smith.
But Jurison is really upset with himself. So is Eddie Lowe. They thought they had him. They thought they had him trapped back there. They had a pinch. They had a vice. But guess what he did? Foggy has got that amazing ability to scoot out away from people. Watch how he skips backwards. Jurison's really upset with that. And then, of course, Eddie Lowe ended up tackling Jurison. There's Foggy out around the outside.
All of that results in a 2nd and 10 situation from the 52. Foggy, good pass to Clemens, but Clemens was hit as soon as he got the ball by Richie Hall.
Well, Richie Hall and Clemens are about the same size, but Clemens took the hit on that one. And that's a tough one. You hang the running back up on that ball, trying to catch that football. He's defenseless. And they come in there and really put the wham on him.
And Clemens making his way to the sidelines, obviously in some discomfort.
Could be the pointer area around the hips, and that's tough.
Jaycox goes back as the lone punt returner. Ankelesic getting set to punt. Jaycox again lets it bounce at the 10. And he gets up to the 15-yard line. Good downfield coverage. That special effort that Adam Reed put into the special teams all week long has paid off. Let's go to Scott.
Steve, another update from Lansdowne Park in Ottawa, where the Eskimos have taken the lead over the Roughriders on a broken play, turned into a touchdown by Tracy Ham. Watch as he drops back to pass, then breaks into the well-known Tracy Ham scramble, ends up running about 60 yards to get the 22 he needed for the major score. This with about 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, and the Eskimos lead Ottawa now 15-8.
Looks like Tracy Ham is doing his Ricky Foggy interpretation. Pitch to Bushy. And he picks up 2 or 3 yards. Brian Warren was there to bring him down.
Well, that's good pursuit, but you got to wonder, I mean, here you are down by 31 points, and you're running a little bit of a toss on your own 10-yard line. I mean, let's get with it. Let's get in this ball game.
Well, it's pretty tough to continue to put the ball up, especially when you're getting the kind of rush you're getting from the Argos. 2nd and 7. Wall looking for Elgard, and he fires over his head. And Wall was not happy with his performance on that play.
Looked like a problem with the cadence. And what is happening to Saskatchewan, Wall is calling the cadence, and his slot backs are getting across the line of scrimmage before he's getting the ball snapped.
Saskatchewan, number 31, decline, 3rd down.
Illegal procedure against Lucius Floyd that time. And you're right, that cadence is a problem. Obviously, they've been used to Rick Warman for the last 4 games, and now Wall comes in, and they're having trouble adjusting. Lazecki getting set to punt for the Riders. Pinball Clemens, the lone punt receiver, standing at the midfield stripe. Clemens goes nowhere. Dropped at the 51-yard line. Good downfield pursuit by the Riders, led by Dan Rasevich.
Dan Rasevich has been very active in this football game, and those open field tackles are really important. You want to come in and wrap up those great return people on both sides. If you don't wrap them up when you get the first shot, sometimes they'll go all the way.
They should surpass that total by the end of the game, one would think, with a full quarter to play.
This has been Toronto's problem. They seem to go into the doldrums every once in a while on offense.
Foggy complete to the Rocket. And the Rocket down inside the 30-yard line.
I think that's why Adam Rita wanted to get Foggy back in there. He felt like they weren't going with Willie Gillis. He wanted to get in there and get some things working. He didn't want the team to do what they had done in the past, allow the other team to get a comeback.
The Rocket enjoying another productive night.
Well, here's the danger of the Rocket. If you miss a tackle, he's going to make more yards. And look how he comes back upfield. He caused 3 other people to miss a tackle before they wrapped him up.
What I like is the way he bounces off that first hit. Foggy complete again to the Rocket. Out of bounds at the 14-yard line. Stacey Hairston over there to push him out of play.
Some people have been critical of the Rocket, and I think mostly because he makes a lot of money. Now he is a legitimate receiver. He is not a track man, and he looks the football in. He puts the football away. That's a very important quality in a receiver. To take that ball, put it away before you do some things with it.
1st and 10 Argos from their own, or the Riders' 14-yard line. They lead 41-10. Should be the last play of the 3rd quarter. Foggy puts it up. Touchdown! Jeff Boyd.
To Boyd, who beat Hairston. It's a touchdown. But Foggy read it all the way as a blitz coming.
Lance Chomik is good on the point after. And the Toronto Argonauts continue to pour it on. They now lead 48-10. Back to the Skydome in Toronto, where the 4th quarter is just about to get underway. Toronto leading 48-10. Chomik taken by Albert Brown at the 25. And Brown fights his way up to the 35-yard line.
Jeff Boyd had a nice touchdown reception on that blitz pickup. Suter was coming in on the blitz, as were the linebackers. Foggy just put it out, counted up the score. Chris Gaines made the hit on that last kickoff, and Chris Gaines has been all over this field. I mean, Chris Gaines is playing a good football game, and that's what Adam Rita wanted, people to pursue.
Argos dominating in every department, as you might expect, leading 48-10. Wall. Pass passing complete to Elgard. And Elgard, with good second effort, gets up to the 50-yard line. Marcus Thomas rides him out of bounds.
Well, that was a nice play. They hit Elgard on the outside. Aldag pulled out to help in the protection. And I think Wall has shown a lot of potential.
And it looks as if they're about to make that 5-0. Wall complete to Jaycox, and he stopped at the midfield stripe, brought down by Reggie Pleasant.
And look at Chris Gaines, got all the way outside and made a hit on a wide receiver. Nice pass again by Ted Wall. He put the ball through a dart right in there.
I've been impressed with the job that he's done. He came on in relief for Brick Warman. He hasn't put that many points on the board, but he's moved the club.
He's completed passes. He's a good athlete. I was impressed with him running with the football, and he looks like he's got enough zip on the ball to get it where he wants it. He needs better protection, and he needs a little more support. When they're running their blitzes against him, he's got to get his receivers to coordinate with him, and that's tough because they haven't had the practice.
Ed Berry shaken up on that last play.
Well, they got Bracey at the corner now, so you can watch for that.
2nd and 6 for the Riders around the midfield stripe. Wall in and out of the arms of Fairholm, and Jaycox almost had that off the rebound. Marcus Thomas with a good hit initially.
So you can take a couple completions that Wall didn't get, and he's put them in their hands.
It's amazing where you can get the Toronto Argonaut owner to sign his autograph.
Oh, this is Hollywood. Hollywood North.
I've never seen one there before.
Are you talking about the signature?
Lazecki with the punt. It's a good high punt. And the Rocket watched it go out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. Now let's go down the sidelines to Scott Oak.
Steve, at Lansdowne Park in Ottawa, the Eskimos have widened their lead over the Roughriders. 6 minutes to go, third quarter. Tracy Ham didn't have to run this time. All he had to do was throw 15 yards to Blake Marshall, the outstanding Canadian running back. Takes it in for the major score, and now it's 22-8 Edmonton over Ottawa in the third quarter.
And there's the man who put his autograph on the midsection of that young lady.
He's denying it right now. Look at it.
And he says no more signing.
No more autographs. Well, he looked good in his Argo jacket last night, the blue leather-sleeved Argo jacket, on sale at the souvenir shop.
Yes. Complete to the Rocket. And again, very impressed with the way the Rocket runs after he makes the reception.
That's what you want in a receiver. You want a receiver that's going to catch the football, put it away, and then run with it. Do something after you catch the football. It goes on the books as a 15-yard gain or an 8-yard gain, but it was really about a 3-yard pass.
You notice his feet never stop moving. Makes him very difficult to bring down.
And he is quick.
2nd and 2 for the Argos. Kevin Smelly gets the call. I don't think he's got the first down. He had to get up across the 35-yard line. Gary Lewis and Rasovich were there to meet him and bring him down. And they called for the chains, and they'll measure this one. Is protected by copyright as intended strictly for the private use of our viewing audience. Any use, exhibition, distribution, reproduction, or retransmission in whole or in part without the express written consent of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation is strictly prohibited. Beautiful night for football in the Sky Dome in Toronto. As you look at the tail of the tape, big second quarter for the Argos, putting 27 points on the board. 1st and 10 from the 36. Gillis in the grasp of Bobby Jurison, and Jurison isn't about to let go.
Jurison is frustrated. He has been playing a good football game. He's gotten pressure on the quarterback all night. He got a piece of Gillis here, and he makes sure that he ties him up. He wrapped him up. Did a good job. You can see that offensive line are trying to take him out around, and Jurison comes right underneath that shoulder. Pulls the big guy down. Gillis is a hard guy to bring down.
That's the 5th sack of the game for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 2nd and 12 Argos. Gillis. Smith complete. And Smith has the first down with about 12 to 15 yards to spare. Glenn Suter made the stop on Smith, and if he hadn't, Smith was gone.
Well, I'll tell you what Smith does. Darryl Smith is such a great target. He gets that zone coverage, and he goes right down the seam, just like you draw it up on the chalkboard. Right down the seam. Gillis puts the ball in there. How many times have we seen Darryl Smith do that? Right between the receivers.
A 27-yard gain for Darryl K. Smith as he goes over the 100-yard mark in receiving. 1st and 10 from the 49-yard line of the Riders. This is Mike Clemens. Reverses his field. Got some blocks. Look out. Touchdown, the pinball.
What a football play, that's Mike Clemens. I'll tell you what he did. He went to the left. It was a toss 39 sweep. He started out to the left, saw that everybody was pursuing that way. Gillis came around, trying to come around and fearing a fake, and ended up being a key block on Richie Hall. Gillis at the bottom of the screen. Michael Clemens is gone. Now he's got a football for his fiancée.
And the point after is good from Lance Chavik as to add to their total in the 4th quarter here at the Skydome. 2 touchdowns by the rush, 1 by the pass, the hat trick for the pinball, Mike Clemens.
Well, what Mike Clemens likes to do is run to daylight. He caught everybody on Saskatchewan trying to pursue. They were actually doing a great job of pursuit. Willie Gillis came over and made the key block on Richie Hall. And Michael did the rest virtually on his own. This guy has got 3 touchdowns tonight.
And the family of the pinball have their 3 balls, the mother, the sister, and the fiance. And here's another one that's about to get kicked off.
This might be for his sister-in-law.
This is Bushy. And Bushy lights his way up just shy of the 50-yard line. Don Wilson there to bring him down. That was a 38-yard kickoff and a 12-yard return by Bushy.
Well, John Gregory knows that he's got Austin coming back next week, and that's got to make him feel good. But I think he wants to see what Wall can do. He's got to make a decision on his quarterbacking. Supposed to have Major Harris coming in. I mean, he wants to see if Wall is a player. And so far, he's looked pretty good.
1st and 10 Riders from their own 48-yard line. Wall with time right into the arms of Ray Elgard, and a flag goes down. Elgard just shy of the Argos 50-yard line.
Well, that's what you like to see, the ball down in an area where they can catch it. It's so important for a receiver to be able to catch the ball, turn and run.
Interference. Saskatchewan number 81. Repeat first down.
Ray Elgard called on the pass interference, and that nullifies the play and takes the ball back to the 38-yard line.
Well, I don't understand that call. I mean, you've got a guy like Elgard. He's going to make a bump into somebody. He's catching the football.
These 2 teams have been involved in a lot of high-scoring games, but not too many this lopsided.
tempers are getting a little short because the ball game up front, the linemen have been really going at each other. They don't want to be, Toronto doesn't want to be giving them anything so that they get into a shorter yardage situation. They want to keep them where they can rush them on the passing. They have to pass now. Toronto can tee off and rush fast.
2nd and 23. Riders from their own 35. Wall puts it up. He has to. Good catch by Don Narcisse at the midfield strike. He's about 4 yards short of the first down, but a good catch by Narcisse. Excellent concentration.
Oh, that's a football catch. He really went up for the football, sacrificed his body. When he pulled the ball down, he knew he was going to take the hit. That's a fine play. A 16-yard gain. That's a good-looking football play.
And those excellent pictures from the Sky Camp bucket tonight, coming to us from Carol Gallagher, high upstairs in the Sky Dome.
Looks like Lucius may have a cramp. He's got the ankle already taped, so might be a little bit tender.
Very hot and humid nights. And at this point in a football game, it's when you expect to see a lot of cramps and pulls.
Well, the traction is so good on an AstroTurf field. And we even heard Adam Rita talk about when Dunnigan comes back to put him in a different shoe. His traction is so good, and Matt is so strong that he pulls muscles because the shoe grips into the surface. So they're going to bring him back without any cleats on his shoes. They're going to give him a smooth-soled shoe. And I think it probably will help. It didn't help Lucius. He's out of the game at this point.
Matt Dunnigan expected to be back in action for the Argos next week against the Eskimos in Edmonton. It is 3rd down and 3 to go. The ball just shy of the midfield stripe. Wall's going to put it up, and it's complete, and then dropped. Elgard had it and then dropped it.
Well, if you're going to call pass interference on Elgard, there are 2 plays before this. Call this a pass interference on the defense.
Elgard had it on the hip momentarily, but was unable to hang on.
I mean, Ray Elgard has to come down and be aggressive. He's got to be able to make a contact on a defender.
The Argos lead 55-10 in the 4th quarter.
Nothing captures the magic of baseball better than baseball cards, one of the hottest collectibles going. And now you don't have to trade or buy dozens of card packs to collect all the cards from your favorite team. Now you can buy Topps baseball cards in team sets, complete with the potentially valuable rookie cards. But that's not all. With your Topps team set, you also receive this attractive baseball card album to protect and store your collection. Choose your favorite team and call now. You'll receive a complete 1991 Topps team set and team album for only $14.95 plus $3 shipping. Plus order now and you'll also receive absolutely free the valuable 1991 All-Star set. You get genuine Topps cards with all the players' Major League records on the back, plus the team album, plus the All-Star set, all for one low price. Not available in stores. Call now.
To order your Topps team set, team album, and All-Star set, use your credit card and call toll-free. 1-800-525-1000. That's 1-800-525-1000. Or send check or money order for $14.95 plus $3 shipping to Team Set, Department E, Box 1618, St. Louis, Missouri, 63011. Sorry, no CODs. Call now.
In Ottawa, the Eastern Riders trying to stay in the game against the Eskimos, but it's proving tough. They close to have been a touchdown. Damon Allen rolled right, then found Stefan Jones on the goal line. This play went 43 yards for the major score. Just under 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, and it was 22-15 Edmonton. But Eddie Thomas intercepted a Damon Allen pass to make it 29-15. He returned that all the way for a touchdown, and that's the margin of the lead that the Eskimos have right now. In a correction, it was not Stefan Jones who caught the touchdown pass from Damon Allen. It was Gerald Wilcox. You got that straight, Steve?
I've got that, and you're looking at Willis Jaycox, who is on the Saskatchewan bench getting some treatment. Does not look good for the Riders. This is the pinball in search of touchdown number 4 for the Argos. David McCrary there to make the stop.
He must have covered about 70 yards on that play. He went from one end of the 65-yard wide football field to the other, and he made a gain of about 7. I mean, they just can't get a good, clean shot at him. I mean, somebody has to get underneath him to get him down.
Just under 8 minutes to play, fourth quarter here at the Sky Dome in Toronto. It's been all Argos. They're now 2nd and 3. The ball's on the 48-yard line. Willie Gillis is sacked.
Give that sack to Jurison. He's the one that caused it because he came right into Gillis's face. Although he didn't wrap him up, he certainly made Gillis pull the ball down. And then Proctor finished him off, but that was a good play, very good play by Jurison.
And Gary Lewis also gets an assist on that one. Albert Brown now is the lone punt returner with Jaycox on the bench with some bandages around his shoulder as Hank Alesic gets set to punt. Long count. Good punt from Alesic. Brown back inside his 5. Looking for running room. And all that running, he loses a yard or two. A 50-yard punt from Hank Alesic and a 1-yard return from Albert Brown.
Well, it's about a 50-yard return, but unfortunately it's cross-country again. No, they're trying to set up the wall. Smelly he wouldn't take it. He just stayed outside. Looked like Brazeley was backing him up. If those corners just keep contained, you're never going to get her outside. You're going to get up inside the contained man.
Not exactly the field position that Ted Wall and the Riders would have liked. 1st and 10 from the 2. And a fumble. And the Argos recover.
Never in the running back's hands.
Ted Wall miscuing on the exchange to Bushy.
He put the ball on Bushy's hip, and Bushy wasn't able to come back with his body and twist it around to get the football. He was already past the exchange point. Has to be right in the belly button. That's where you have to put the football so that the back can put both hands on it. And John Gregory is upset.
And now the Argos 1st and goal from the 6. Gillis goes himself and gets down inside the 5-yard line. Eddie Lowe and David Albright combining on the tackle.
Well, Gillis looked like he was looking for Darrell K. Smith. But he couldn't find anything in time, and then he decided to run with it. It was too late.
They spot the ball at the 3. It is now 2nd and goal for the Argos. The wishbone formation.
Wishbone. We talked about the flash fake. That wasn't a fake. That ball was given to Kevin Smelly. Willie Gillis came out faking like he was going to run the option, but Smelly, good prospect. He and Kelly are both fine fullbacks. Smelly played at the University of Massachusetts. He's a power runner.
Lance Chomik will attempt the point after. It is good. So the Toronto Argonauts continue to do everything right and now have a commanding 62-10 margin.
Hi, I'm Warren Moon of the Houston Oilers. A quarterback depends on good protection. He can't do it alone. Kids can't do it alone either. They need the help of both parents. If you owe child support, please pay it faithfully. Don't neglect your own kids. Without support, they can end up on the bottom of the pile. And believe me, that's no fun.
Services cost $1 in Idaho and are free in Montana and Washington. Contact your local agency for more information about their program.
Every day, we're losing 50,000 barrels of oil, over 2 million gallons of gasoline, to a seemingly unimportant thing. Low tire pressure. Have you checked yours lately? President Bush hopes you'll do your part. Drive smart.
Thank you, Scott. It's time to break out the record book. Last year, the Toronto Argonauts defeated BC 68-43, and they defeated Calgary 70-18. They have a 62-10 lead right now over Saskatchewan. They are an explosive football team that can put a lot of points on the board. They did it all last year, and they're starting to do it again this year.
One of the things that was brought up was how do you keep all of those people happy? Clements, Ismail, Smith, Boggy, how do you keep all of those players happy? You know, it seems like you need 4 footballs, but I guess the way you keep them happy is to let all of them score touchdowns.
John Gregory talking to his quarterback, Ted Wall. Kent Austin also there in the huddle. You'll see action next week. Jeff Fairholm. And Fairholm tripped up at the 35-yard line. Now let's go down the sidelines and Scott Oak. Scott?
Steve, another update from Lansdowne Park in Ottawa, where the Eastern Riders are staying close to the Eskimos. Watch Reggie Barnes on a 2-yard plunge for the touchdown, and this makes it Edmonton 22, or 29, I should say, to Ottawa's 22. And so once again, the Rough Riders are within a converted touchdown of the Eskimos, proving to be quite a game there.
And quite an exhibition by the Toronto Argonauts here. 1st and 10 Riders from the 37. Wall going wide, very wide. Fired back in the middle of Ray Elgard, and he's just shy of the 50-yard line. Should have the first down for the Riders.
Hey, I like this Wall. I like what he does. Brian Warren had him. He had the leverage on him. Brian Warren can't get it to him. Wall went outside of Ford. When you get outside of Darryl Ford, Brian Warren, and deliver the ball, you're doing well.
The roof here at the Sky Dome is starting to close, which means one thing. Rain is on the way. They had a ball game here the other night. A lot of people got wet, including our spotter, Art Darch. Jeff Fairholm taking that pass from the ball. Took it at the 54 and winds up at the 51.
Well, this guy throws with some authority. He puts the football where he wants it. He's got some running ability. I think he's got a good future.
A gain of 4. 2nd and 6 from the 53. Wall puts it up, just floats it, intending it for Lucius Floyd, and he was looking back at the football. He knew it was going to be short, but he couldn't stop his forward motion to come back and get the ball.
Well, he was covered pretty well. I think Van Bellingham took the inside away, and that's what you have to do on that pass. Had he been able to come under control, maybe he would have been able to make a reception, but Lucius was getting bumped as he went down the field.
3rd and 6. They've got to go for it. Wall puts it up, in and out of the arms of Lucius Floyd. Incomplete. And the Riders will give up the ball on downs.
Well, we got to brag on Darryl Ford again, because what he did, he came right through the line of scrimmage and put pressure so that Wall wasn't able to get that ball out there.
Most points, one team, 1956, way back in 1956, 82-14, and our spotter, Art Darch, played in that game.
He was on the losing team. Sam Echeverry had a good game against you, Art.
Art Darch now does an outstanding job for us as our spotter here in the booth. 1st and 10 for the Argos from the 53. The reverse. Smith trying to find some running room, crosses the 50 yards line, picks up 3 yards. There's the man who does the spotting job for us so well, game in, game out. You really lost that one, eh? 82 to what? Well, he can still laugh about it anyway. 2nd and 7 for the Argos. The ball's at the 50. Gillis going long. The Rocket. Oh, no! The Rocket can't hang on, but flags come down. Sean Tice defending on the play.
Well, I think Sean did what he had to do. That was a touchdown. The Rocket had him. Sean out.
When we come back, we'll get a clarification on the flags.
Why take chances with safety? Be prepared with paramedic first aid. 101 first aid items in one convenient package. Cleansing pads and antiseptic towelettes, antibacterial cream, a complete assortment of bandages, tape, scissors, tweezers, an instant cold compress, and a handy first aid chart. Order now and receive a second kit absolutely free. And this one goes everywhere you do. Workshop, car, hiking, boating, fishing, even in your toolkit. Order right now and we'll also include this incredible coupon which guarantees free replacement of any item you use for up to 1 full year.
Order your paramedic first aid kit now. Receive a coupon good for 1 full year for free replacements of any item in the kit. Plus, you'll receive a second kit free. Call now or send $19.95 plus $5.95 for shipping and handling to the address on your screen.
Expect when a team trails by 52 points, the mood on the bench is despondent for reasons more than the score. Willis Jaycox, the Riders' outstanding kick returner, is done for the night, obviously, because of shoulder problems. The net effect of some big hits that he's taken throughout the course of the evening, and also towards the end of the first half, Milson Jones suffered some rib damage and is on the bench right now in street clothes. The extent of his injury is not known, but John Gregory obviously unhappy with the course of events at the Skydome this evening, Steve.
Not good news for Saskatchewan Roughriders fans, Scott. And up next for the Saskatchewan Roughriders will be the BC Lions, who tonight are playing the Calgary Stampeders at BC Place Stadium. 1st and goal. Gillis puts it up, looking for Smith. Incomplete.
Well, Gillis was pressured and guessed by who? That Bobby Jurison is playing some kind of a football game. Darrell was trying to get the football to the outside. He wanted to go back into the outside. Richie Hall, who is about a foot shorter, wouldn't let him do it. There's Jurison again, saying hello. Boom.
2nd and goal from the 2. Gillis. For Boyd, no good. Boyd took it out of bounds, did not have control in the field of play. The fans don't like the call. And the fans would like the Argos to continue to pour it on. It's 3rd and goal from the 2.
Well, Adam Reed is having a good time. He and Ricky Foggy are over there motioning to Gillis to go for it.
And they are indeed going to go for it. 3rd and goal from the 2. Gillis puts it up. And Jeff Boyd got a piece of it, but again, wasn't able to hang on.
That's an effort by Jeff Boyd the last two times. Last 2 passes, he made a great catch, but it was ruled out of bounds. This one, he had to tuck his leg under and pull the ball in. John Gregory has got to be encouraged by that backup quarterback. I think he's got a kid there in Ted Wall, and knowing that he's got Austin back, I think he's got something to build with, and his defensive line has been given a heck of an effort all night.
Another limping Saskatchewan Rider comes off the field. Richie Hall. It is 1st and 10 Riders from their own 2. Bushy, the ball carrier, crosses the 10-yard line. Had to get to the 12 for the first down. Don Moen there to make the tackle.
Well, I think these are the kinds of things that Wall has to get used to. He's backed up in his own goal line. He's going to try to get that club moved down the field, and he's got to have some patience.
2nd and 2. And the Riders have the first down. Lucius Floyd. To play in this game, and the Skydome tonight, all Toronto 62-10. 1st and 10 Riders from their own 20. Wall puts it up. In and out of the arms of Bruce Boyko.
That's happened to Wall quite a bit tonight. He's put the ball into their hands, and they just haven't been able to hold on to it.
Make it 2nd and 10 from the 20. Wall puts it up, looking for Lucius Floyd, and it's incomplete. Van Bellingham, good job defending on the play. There's a flag down. And Gregory can't believe it.
I think Van Bellingham... I think Gregory thought it was interference, but what Van Bellingham wants to do is make his mark, because Chris Mumford has about 5 interceptions this year, and he's looked very good when he's in there.
Procedure, Saskatchewan, decline, 3rd down.
Illegal procedure against the Riders. And that will bring on Lezecki to punt. And the Rocket is the lone punt returner, standing just inside the 50-yard line. Good high spiral from Lezecki. This will be taken by the Rocket at the 41. Good initial move. Still on his feet. Great balance by the Rocket. Still going. Oh, tremendous return by the Rocket. Not very far, but great second effort by the Rocket on that punt return. Now let's go down to Scotto.
Steve, another update from Lansdowne Park in Ottawa, where with 8:44 to go in the 4th quarter, they have got a game going. Damon Allen to Reggie Barnes, who pulls his way the 4 yards for the touchdown, and now they're all tied up at 29 at Lansdowne Park in Ottawa.
A lot closer than the one we've got going here at Skydome, 62-10. Favor the Argos.
Well, that Rocket, he looks like he's taking lessons from pinball. He won't let anybody tackle him.
1st and 10 from the 44. Fred McNair, the quarterback now. And J.P. John Paul Izquierdo was the ball carrier. So the bench is really going to get a workout here in the late seconds of this game for the Argos.
Well, JP's one of those special teams players, and he's putting a special effort in on this play. He's running people over.
McNair, the quarterback. He's the 3rd string quarterback. Ricky Foggy started. Gillis has seen action, and now it's McNair's turn. And McNair tried to find Jeff Boyd down at the 10-yard line. It's incomplete. Not very often you get to see a 3rd string quarterback in a game, but McNair, I'm sure, will appreciate the time that he's about to see.
You can imagine Jeff Boyd's frustration. He's seen 3 quarterbacks tonight. He's trying to get his touchdown, but that ball was thrown behind him.
Andrew Murray talking to McNair, probably telling him to calm down, take your time. Just do what you've done so many times in practice. Less than a minute to play, 4th quarter. Complete to Smith. Smith not going to go past the 25-yard line in the grasp of Sean Dykes. Three touchdowns for that man tonight. Boy, when you consider an MVP in this game, his name has to be right up there along with Ricky Foggy.
Yeah, there aren't many quarterbacks in this league that have 370 yards passing and 170 yards rushing in one game.
For pinball, 69 yards rushing, 65 receiving, 64 in a punt return, and 3 touchdowns. Not a bad night's work. Keith Kelly still going. And Kelly gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Led by Wayne Drinkwalder and David Albright.
I think some pride showed through there. You saw a lot of pursuit on the part of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And Dave Albright's down on one knee. He's trying to find some wind. Jurison looks like he's a little bit upset with the way things went tonight, and I think that's the way you want your defense going into another game.
This has been an awesome offensive performance by the Toronto Argonauts.
Turnovers and punt returns have not helped the Saskatchewan Roughriders in their inconsistency on offense.
Lucius Floyd gets up to the 33-yard line. Flags go down. Dave Van Bellingham is going to be called there.
Well, Dave hit him clearly when he was down. Now, that's a good call.
Major foul. Piling on. Toronto number 17. First down.
That's exactly what happened. And that will move the ball down to the 48-yard line of the Roughriders.
He's already down, and that's an obvious situation. Ed Gaines hasn't given up. He's been playing hard all night.
Matt Dunnigan, who should see some action for the Argos next week against the Eskimos. Lucius Floyd just shy of the midfield stripe. Chris Gaines there to make the tackle.
I'd like to see Ted Wall throw the ball here. I don't know why he's running so many straight running plays. It's time to throw the ball, Ted. Get us a touchdown. Show the coaches what you can do.
This should be the final play of the game. Gives to Lucius Floyd, and a fitting way for this game to end. Lucius Floyd is dropped for a loss, courtesy of Harold Hallman. So mercifully for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, this one is over. They lose 62-10.
Well, I know Adam Reed has got to be happy because all of his skilled people had a chance to show what they could do tonight. They shared in this victory. He's got to be pleased with the defense holding him to 10 points.
The Toronto Argonauts were a dominant force offensively last year. They're back again, 62-10 winners over the Saskatchewan Roughriders.